Maine or something?
No. I was living in Jemoyne. My dad had a business over there during the Depression. He was a milk cart. He had a big business, and he used to deliver milk and everything. He had a very big business, had 4 or 5 horses. In those days, it was just horse and buggies. That's what it was, delivering the milk in the old days. And that was about 1930, in the height of the Depression. Anyway, so what happened was, Dad lost his business. He got foreclosed. What happened? Because he used to go around and used to serve all the little people in Balmain, and they didn't. And that days there wasn't much money around, and they couldn't afford to buy the milk. But that's all them. They all had little babies and things, and you know, he gave them the milk, and he said, "Well, pay when we can." He said, "Well, pay when you can," because he couldn't see the kids go starving with milk. Anyway, what happened was, after a while, the debts came so good that the companies foreclosed on his business. And what happened was, we had a problem paying the rent, and he had everything all done. And Dad had just a little truck, and what furniture they had, they put in the back of the tool truck. And those days it was a common thing. Everyone was moving out, and away they went up Lyons Road, and Dad said, "Well, where do we go?" And Mum says, Mum said, "They tell me these are suburbs are a nice place to live." Oh, well, what we do? So we instead of turning left to go to right, we turned right and went into town, over the bridge, and straight over to Bondi. Yeah, and that's how I got here.
Okay. After that, what was your first memory of Bondi?
My first memory was coming to the beach just on the corner. And Mum used to bring me down when I was about 18 months, 2 years old. And I used to come down the beach. She had me, and I was black as the ace of spades. In those days, there was no sunscreening or anything. Every day, Mum would bring me to the beach, and I remember flapping in the water, and I'm making sandcastles as a kid. Yeah, and you grew up in that sort of atmosphere of water all the time, and you know, and that's how it was. And then I learned to swim growing up. I learned to swim over at Bronte, the little drop pool of Bronte. Taught myself to swim. No one else taught me. I decided I want to try and swim, and finally I taught myself to swim, and that was it. Oh well, like that came way back in about 1947. Yeah. Well, what happened before that? I went to school I finished going to school at Waverley Public, and then I went to Wallara. Yeah. And then after Wallara, then I finished going to Krause. Did my immediate certificate, and then after that, I got a job doing photographic work in Paddington. We used to do commercial photographs of things, and I worked there in the darkroom. I was doing this photographic developing and all that stuff. Yeah. I would have been 16, 17, yeah. 16. Yeah. After that, I started moving around, and I joined the crowd they were called the Cornell Wild Boys. They were there with Bluey Mays, Billy Woods, Stan Graham, all that. These are all the guys that knocked around Bondi. They used to come down here and leave all their boards just down the corner here, and they used to all get together, and I came down, and I used to be a mad swimmer and everything like that, and I thought, oh, this would be great. We're getting bored. Anyway, one day a guy came along, one of the guys, Stan Graham, I remember, he said, I got this old board for sale. They wanted to buy it. I said, hey, how much? 30 bob. 30 bob, which is what, $15 or something. Oh, I'm an owner of a board. Oh, that was the biggest thing I ever had. Unbelievable. That was the first. That was in 1947. The board was, well, it wasn't that big. It was only about 14 foot at the time, and those boards they used to have were 16 foot. But I had this little 14-foot board, And every time I get out there and fill up with water because they're all high.
Yeah.
And then all this high, but anyway, this old board, I learned to ride it and got up there and used to ride the board, man. I used to fall off a lot, but I enjoyed it. It was good. It got me going. And then I decided to, well, I saved enough money working that I'd buy myself a new board. And I bought it off, so I ordered a board off a fellow who used to make boards, and Ed Gordon Woods, very well known guy, used to live in down near Centennial Park. And the thing is, I got to know Gordon through my mum and dad, who were good mates, who were good friends of their mum and dad, his mum and dad. And they used to go to parties together. And then one night, I walked down to Gordon's place and I said, "Can you make me a board?" He said, "Right, what size?" "Oh, make it." There was a 16-foot board, so I said, "Make it 15 foot." Right. So in those days, it was £1 a foot. So that makes 15 pounds. Well, in those days, 15 quid was a bit of money. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I saved a bit because I saved it. I said, "Right, I'll be down here next week, Gordon, and I'll give you the 15 quid. And that was it. And everyone used to come down, and when you used to go out there and ride a board, if you saw about 5 or 6 boards out there, gee, it's a big day out here today. Where do all these boards come from? 5 or 6 boards. When you look at it now, they're close to nearly 500 boards out there now. And when I was out there, no more than about 5 or 6, 7, 8 boards. Where you see the grass over there, that was all along there was this big nightclub. Underneath was a kiosk where they used to sell drinks and things. At the back they had a dance hall, little dance hall. Yeah. And underneath there I found where I could put my board. But the funny thing about it was, after a while, I thought, this is trying to find this board up here. Now I got a new board. I don't want to leave it around. So what I did, I decided I'd join the surf. At least if I thought, well, I get the surf on, at least I could somewhere to leave my board.
Yeah.
Well, they joined the surf, but Barry McGuigan, Magoo. Yeah. We put out, in fact, our boards ride the same day. Gordon Woods, we waited down here and we said, "We're getting our new boards, Barry." Yeah, yeah. And sure enough, then he comes his old truck, and there were our 2 boards. Oh, they were the delight of my life. When you think about it, yeah. And those days, that was a big thing. Yeah. Oh, the new board. That was 47. Oh, I was about 19, about 18. But during the war, I remember coming down here during the war as a kid. I could walk along the beach. The whole beach was all barbed wire all the way along, and you couldn't get on the beach. But we knew which way to go to different areas where they had it all. They had different sections. We knew we'd get down this section, we get through and down, and we knew how to get in and out of the water. And in and out of the water.
Go on the beach.
Well, in the sunny day, they could sit at the back of the beach, and that's what they did, behind the barbed wire, because they couldn't get much into the water. And the atmosphere was fantastic. Maybe because it was a new era for me. Yeah. Riding a board, there were things everyone says, "Oh, you're on board riding." Yeah. Because in those days, no one rode boards. There were very few people who rode boards. So then we go to different places down the south coast, down the Green Island. Yeah. And one of the guys there, but he had a big truck, and we used to throw our boards on the truck and go from the south coast to Green Island. You go down there wouldn't be a board round the scene, you wouldn't see anybody. Yeah, just trudge over the sand hills, and away you go. For those days, see, it was all sort of in its infancy. And the one who started it all, who I think generated more so, was Bluey Mays.
Yeah.
Bluey Mays was a Nike. He was the guru. He's been a surfer all his life as a kid, and been in the surf club as a kid, as a little cadet, and what happened during the war, he joined what they called the American small ships. These little small ships used to go. The American Navy employed all these Australians who work on these small boats who go around and just supply the islands with food and goods and things like that. they were the ones who used to supply all the goods and food to all the islands. So their ships could go somewhere else, and these other small ships could do the small little bits of work. So he used to work on these ships, and he got to an island once, I think it was just off Bougainville. And they got into Bougainville one day, and he saw these waves. This is what Louis said. Saw these waves coming up. Never seen my beautiful little green waves. Because he was mad on surfing, you know. And those days, he didn't have a board, but he used to get out there, and he used to, when he finished work on the boat, and they unloaded all the food and everything, he used to go out there and swim, everything. And one day, one of the colonel in the American Navy was on the island, and one of the chiefs on the island where they were stationed. He saw this guy out there cracking these waves and doing the things. He said, "Look at that guy swimming out there doing things." He says, when he came in, he waited for him. He sat on the beach waiting for him to come in. And he asked where he was. He said, I told him he worked on American ships and things like that. Oh, he said, what ship was it going over there, this one over there? Oh, yeah. He said, I might have a new job. Well, a new job. He went back, because what happened was, so many of the American people, particularly the guys who were staying on the island, they were on R&R, a lot of them got drowned because they were swimming out there, and the Americans weren't used to the surf.
Yeah.
They weren't used to the surf or anything, and they were drowning. So, yeah, and this guy said, we need a lifeguard. And he said, so we went across over to the boat. He said, this guy stayed with me. So what happened was, he kept him on the island. He was the lifeguard on the island. How was that? Nearly middle of 1945, when everything was nearly closed. So then they finished up there, sending him back to Sydney. But one thing about Louis, he was a real man. He used to ride his board with his American dog tags. He used to come in with his American dog tags on the water down there. It just at the end of 1945 when the war finished. American dog tags, had his American uniform on, everything. But it was legal to do it because he was in the American Navy at the time. Yeah, but a nice guy. He was a lad. He was a lad. He was the one who got all the best American suits and things like that. Just after the war, when that was it. Yeah, that sort of thing. Barry Magoo.
Magoo.
Yeah, Magoo. Yeah, Barry Magoo. He used to be a really good surfboard. He finished up a really good surfboard. Yeah, and a lot of competitions and things. Yeah, and I sort of drifted away from the Cornell Walls at the time, and they sort of everything drifted away. And a lot of the guys, they all went south and went into the Bondi board club. Then they made a board club down there. That's right. But I stayed in the surf club, but I used to ride my board in the surf club and everything like that. Went to races in the surf club and everything like that. Yeah.
And what was the surf club like back in those days?
Oh, different to what it is now. No girls. Different to what it is now. What happened was, the bridge inspectors started to clear all the surfboards we used to ride in the corner here. They had to clear them all out there and send them all down south. There were no boards at all anywhere along here till right down to the south. So it was a bit of a problem there. If you got caught out of the area, we used to crack waves up the corner here, and if Paul Laidlaw saw you, he'd rush out and take your board off you for a week. He thought he was doing his job. He was very autocratic. He didn't do the job. There was no, everything was just black and white with him. It was finally resolved where they decided to give an area up here to the board riders where they can go up here to there. So the result of that one, yeah.
And what? Just cutting forward briefly, what do you think about when you watch guys out there surfing now? What do you?
Half of them don't even know how to ride a board. I think they all go out there to carry a board around and then walk down the beach, carry a board, go out there, sit out there for about an hour, and then paddle it in again and come home. But look, please, that's only my opinion. I look at them, and half of them can't even ride a board. Yeah, that's how we grew up with it. But these guys, when they get out there, they think they ride a board. They can't ride a board. Half the time, they just get up and fall off it. But the greatest thing that's ever happened to surfboard riding now is leg ropes. We didn't have leg ropes in those days. I remember losing a board on the point on a 16-foot wave, a big wave. Lost my wave. I had to swim from the point into the beach because I lost my board. Now you've got leg ropes, and the people don't care. The kids don't care because they can fall off. Don't have to swim far, and they know the board's always there. Yeah, I used to go with Benbuck all the time. See, the hollow boards can handle the waves of Benbuck. Of course, they can handle it. The big weed, and of course, it gets the sweep. And you've got the rough water, but the 16-foot boards and 15 could handle the wave, where a little short board, it doesn't handle the rough water all the time. Unless you're a really good surfer, like Lone, they can handle it. But these kids now, they can't, they just can't do it. I can remember, the only one I remember was that big, was in 1974. Yeah. Oh, that was a big, where the waves come off and they swept all the boats off the boat shed. All the boats finished up in the corner here. all the boats finished up in the corner because they got swept off the boat shed straight up in the corner here. Oh, that was a massive surf. Oh, those fearless people, I don't think those guys was Serge Denman. Do you remember Serge from this being Bronny Surfer? He was in our club for a while. And then he changed, he went over to Bronny, lived over to Bronny. But he was a pretty fearless guy. And the same as Keithy Hurst, he was pretty fearless.
And was it a case of everyone who kind of lived, who was in the surf club, and they all were part of the beach, they all lived in Bondi?
Most of them all lived in Bondi.
Yeah.
Most of the guys I knew, everybody, all the guys in the Cornwalls, everybody lived in Bondi. They went to Bondi Public School. They went to Wellington Street, they went to Randwick, they went to Waverley College. So the streets of Bondi, well, little shops and milk bars where they go. Bates's Milk Bar. Oh, everyone used to go to Bates's Milk Bar after surf, sit down and have their chocolate milkshakes and things. Yeah, but it's getting very expensive. At those days, living in Bondi was quite reasonable. Yeah. Of course, that was the time when nobody wanted to live in Bondi. There used to be fights in the Astor, and a lot of people turned off coming to Bondi because they said, it's a slum area. But don't forget, Bondi was a working man's area. Way back in the old days in the 30s, right up in the 30s, right up till the very 60s, 70s, 80s. That was a working man's area. People were just, no one had much money. Everyone got the tram to work. No one had garages. Everyone rented their place. No one bought a place. People sort of didn't want to live here. And a lot of people moved out. Yeah, that was it. And then all of a sudden, it was a change. Then all the yuppies came in, saw the potential of this place, the potential of the beach, the potential of these old houses, and what they can do to them, and how they can get them at the time they were all going cheap. And it was the first short board I've ever seen, made of balsa with a plastic coating on it. Yeah, with a fiberglass coating. Yeah. I said, what's this? I've never seen one of these before. Yeah, and it was the guy I said before, what's his name? Peter Lawford. Yeah. I said, Peter Lawford. I said, Peter Lawford. The film saying, yeah, he came down, he brought this board down. He went out, but he said, look, I don't think he knew how to ride the board. I think he brought it out for publicity's sake. Because he was walking around Bondi with this board, this 60, everyone saying, what kind of board's that? He had a big on it. Anyway, yeah, that was the first time I ever seen it. That was 1951, yeah. Oh, yeah, it was a big start. Yeah. Anyway, he had to go and do shooting down the south hill. They were making on the bush ranges or something like that. So he left the board with Brian, and he left it under the slumber hut there, under there with Brian Davis. And I said to Brian, I wouldn't mind riding that board, see what it's like. So that's what I did. I used to go and pick it up and take it out and ride this board. And it was rather strange for me, but I found it was good. They picked up all the green swells and things like that. It was good, terrific. Found they got the idea of it, and yeah. Anyway, then I said to Brian, I said, "What are you going to do?" He said, "Well, if he goes back to America, I'll keep the board here. You know, I'll live there." I said, "Well, that's great." But he came down one day. He said, "I'm taking my board home."
Really?
Yes. So he put it all off and took it the board home. He never did ride it, but as I said, as Brian said to me, he probably brought it back as publicity stunt for his movie and things like that.
And was Ava Gardner involved somewhere?
No, she wasn't involved. But he told me stories about Ava Gardner. It was raise her hair.
You didn't meet her, did you?
No. I wish I had. She was a good soldier.
When did you first go to
I
Europe?
went to Europe in 1954. Went across over there, got off at Naples, didn't know anybody, bought a little motorbike and went through the whole of Europe on a motorbike. It took 6 weeks to get there. No, but I loved the trip. Got off at Naples and I thought, right, so what do I do? So I went around and I bought this 125C Augusta. 125C Augusta. Little Augusta. Didn't know about you had to get papers and everything. Didn't know much about that at all, really. So all I did was got on it and went all the way through Italy, up into Germany, then through into Switzerland, Sweden, then come down. I came down all the way down through into Holland, then into Belgium, then through into Paris. And I always remember coming through Paris Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock. I'm chugging down the Champs-Élysées. Yeah. Anyway, so I travelled all around and everything, and then I finally came back to England, and that's why I went through Spain and went through all that area, and so I got back to England and I started working in Soho, got the job in Soho, so I decided I had to settle down a bit, so I stayed there for 6 months. Now London's a great place. Socially, I love the area, I love the social part of it, I love all the ballet. I used to go to the ballet shows and everything was terrific. And anyway, so I did that for 6 months. But after 6 months being on the rock, it was raining every day. I used to go to work in the rain. I was sitting in the train, everyone was dead down. No one was happy. I said, I've got to get off this rock. And you wouldn't want to know. One night I used to drink a little pub in Earl's Court called the King's Head. And I got in there one day, and all of a sudden I met this guy come up to me. He said, "Grant." Yeah, because a lot of Australians mixed around that area of Earl's Court. He said, "Hey, Grant, remember me?" And it was a guy that I met, a guy that I went to school with. Yeah, went to school with in Wallara. And he said, "Yeah." He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, I'm working here." He said, "No, I've been working on the ships." I said, "What do you work at?" "Queen Elizabeth." I said, "Do you?" "Yeah." He said, "We just come in for a refit, and they're refitting the boat out, and they've signed off all the crews signed off, and they're gonna do, they're gonna recruit again in another about 2-3 weeks time." And I said, "Gee, that wouldn't be bad." He said, "Would you just do a job?" He said, "I don't know whether I'll get you one, but he said, you've got to go through the union, and you've got to go for a medical and everything like that. But I'll give you all the information. So will you be here tomorrow night?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'll tell you where to go." So he came back the next night, and he had all this information where I had to go. And he said, "You've got to have references." "References?" "Yeah, you've got to have a reference on all the jobs you had." Oh, so here I go. This boy has got worlds to conquer. I just write no references out. And finally went down to the office down there at the Canard, and they said, "All right, we'll get you a job." And the guy stamped it. He said, "Right, Now there's a boat leaving on Tuesday. This is on Friday. He said leave it on Tuesday. Now be down the wharf on Tuesday morning with your bags packed. We're not sure we'll get you a job. You've got to be on the wharf with your bags and all your papers and your book, because I had my seaman's book there. So I got down there all by myself, bang, and the guy, the ship was ready to go. And anyway, the guy come up. Is there a seaman there? What's the job? And I wasn't a seaman. I said, no, I think no. He said, a trimmer. We need a trimmer. I said to the next guy, what's a trimmer? He said, oh, that's the guy that's in the engine room. He said, not a bad job. It's pretty good down below in the engine room. Get this. Oh, I'll take anything. Trimmer? Yes. I got up the game plate. And they signed me on. And oh, that was funny, yeah. And I got the job as a trimmer. I did that. And then I progressed all those ways from a trimmer to a boilerman. And then from a boilerman, then I was a greaser. And then finished up a greaser. I did that for about 6 months. I sailed to New York. That's all I did. Just go back to New York, Southampton was good. Now, it was good. Terrific.
Did you get off in New York?
Oh yeah, we did 8 days, 10 days in New York. I loved it. I loved New York. Yeah. So we used to get about 8 days there some days. We'd be there 5, 6 days, 4 days, it all changed. Anyway, one day, one of the trips right near the end, I was on the boat and the purser came up to me and said, Grant, he said, we've got another canal boat in New York, but it's a cargo ship, the Andes, and it's on charter to the American Fruit Company, and they're going to South. There was a greaser, he's sick, and they're going to take him back home. And he said, if you like, we can change you over. I said, that's good. He said, all right, pack your gear and come to the office. So I packed my gear, went down to the office. He said, come with me. In New York, we went to the next ship. It was just 2 berths down. Went in there, and I signed on this Andes. And from there, we went down to the south, down to Brazil, into Rio, all the way through. Then into Buenos Aires, up there. And we did that all the trip back again, back up to then from there we finished in Trinidad, picked from Trinidad, then into Cuba. Then we stopped in Cuba, got sugar. We were there for about 5, 6, 7 days, 8 days, and then back to New York, and then we do the trip again. Another trip. This time we might do one trip just to the Caribbean. We'll just do the Caribbean. Go to Cuba, Trinidad, Tobago, all that area, Panama City, just picking up fruit, pineapples, sugar, banana, everything. Yeah, being down below in the engine room. We used to work in the mornings, but the afternoons wasn't much to do because they didn't need us at all in the engine room because the boat was there. We just stuck there. We done all the work in the mornings, and the second used to come down around about 12 o'clock. He said, "Okay, fellas, you can go ashore. Just turn to tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, you know." So we used that as a hotel, and I was a traveller. Used to go up and down the place and over in the Buenos Aires city. And we used to go to a little place in Cuba where they used to do the tango. And they just little bars, little old bars, and that was before the revolution they had there. That was before the revolution, and the mafia run the place, all American mafia. Prostitution, everything. But I tell you what, it was great. We had a great time. I did that for about, then our charter finished, got back to New York, and I think I did another trip after that, and then we went back to Southampton. So I thought, well, I've been away 3 years. I think I better go home.
So you came back to Bondi?
I came back to Bondi, yeah. It was quite strange coming back to the surf club, over all those years. Yeah.
Did you feel like you changed in that time?
No, yeah, well I changed a bit. But the surf club never changed. Bondi never changed as much. So when I got home, I didn't know what to do. I thought, 3 years. I didn't feel like getting into an office again after doing all that, you know, sitting in a little office or so, or working at a factory. Or so anyway, I got the job down the mountains. This is where I got to, and I went on from there down there. Told you I worked down the mountains, learned to ski, and from then I changed my attitude of coming back, and I worked back here, and then I'll finish up going back to Europe. And I worked in Austria for 26 years. I did 26 years in Austria, back to Australia, Europe again. And then when I was in Europe, after I finished there, I used to do all my little trips. I used to go to Italy, used to go to Paris, knocked around down Paris and come around and do little things like that, go to Spain, just for holidays. Greece, we used to go down to the Greek islands, and then back to Australia, and that was it. Yeah.
So a lot of your probably mates in Bondi in those days were staying in Bondi.
Yeah, well, they never been. Yeah.
I remember you telling me once. So at some point along the line, you met a Swedish woman, or
oh yeah, well that's when I was in Austria being a ski instructor. Well, you got to realise a ski instructor's got a lot of promises, you've got a lot of opportunities. When I get over there, she'd drive over there, she'd stay with me for about 6 straight weeks, 9 weeks, and then she'd go back. But she never came to Australia because her mother was going blind, and she had to more to stick with her. She was the only daughter, and so she stayed at home most of the time. But after we finished, we used to go together. We used to go to Paris together. We were in the south of France together. You know, we knocked around, did everything. Yeah, so I was a good kid. And then, but right near the end, that sort of romance, coming to the romance side of this, you know, she was great. And then I said, you know, after a while, the old 7-year itch came in. The 7-year itch, you know, after 7 years, you know, it started to fall apart. And I said to her one day, I said, look, Lena, what do you think? Let's sit down. We over a couple of drinks. We said, you know, do you think we should break up? We're not going anywhere. And she said, Grant, I think you're right. And I said, yeah, but we'll still keep friends. Yeah. Anyway, I let her go, bang. And I went back to Australia. Anyway, just before Christmas time, I get a call from her the following year. She said, oh, Grant. I said, oh, Lena, how are you? She said, great, yeah. I thought, are you coming back to Europe this year? I said, yeah. In fact, I'll be away. I'm coming back in about 3 weeks, 2 weeks, maybe after a week, 3 weeks, I'll be back in Austria. She said, well, I'll be down there too. I said, oh, that'll be good. But she said, Grant, I've got to tell you something. So I said, yeah, what? She said, I've got a new partner. I said, oh, that's all right. I said, look, Lena, we're just good friends, no problem. Anyway, I finally, after 3 weeks, then I fly out, and I fly into the little village I go, and then I go to a little pub where I know everybody, and everybody says, oh, Grant, to see you back this year, bang. Then Lena comes up, oh, Grant, how are you? Oh, Lena, it's good to see you, how are you going? And she said, I got my partner, you want to meet my partner? I said, sure, bring him on, let's have a, I'll talk to him. Let's have a talk, yeah. It didn't worry me, I don't care. Guess what happened? It was a girl. She changed, AC/DC.
So the new partner was a woman?
The new partner.
Was a woman?
Yeah, good, yeah. I think I was a gut. I said, oh. I said, oh. Then she said, this is Veronica. Oh, Veronica. Veronica, how are you? I'm great. I've heard so much about you. Yes, Veronica. Oh, good. Anyway, we'll have a few beers. But I never worried. And then that season, she used to ski with a partner. I'd ski with them. After we finished skiing, sometimes we go and have a couple of beers and talk. Hey, it was never any problem. So she finished up with a girl. Oh, unbelievable. Couldn't believe it. Jesus. I was astounded. When I told the guys back home here, they couldn't believe it either. Yeah, so we kept friends all the years I've been there back. I go back only, as I opened back about 5 years ago. And we're still friends, yeah.
Still friends now?
Yeah, still friends. She ring me up at Christmas, yeah.
How old would she be now? Is she younger than you?
She would be probably, she's not born now, about 58 or something like that, 57.
57, that's pretty young.
I did it for till about, even what's it now? I did it till about 94, about 1994, 95, 1995, 96, that was later that year. That, 1940, no, it was about 1990, it was about 98. And then I decided I didn't want to teach anymore. I was getting old. I prefer to ski, and so I gave it up. I didn't bother going back over there again. Yeah.
Do you miss it?
I don't miss the teaching, but sometimes I used to miss the good skiing I used to have.
Are you happy with the fact that you did all that travelling in those days when a lot of people didn't?
I look back at it, I look back and I think I could have got married early. I had some beautiful girls here when I was a kid. Nearly got married, nearly close to getting married a lot of times, and nice girls, everything, but it was always the back of my mind that I want to travel, want to go to Paris, want to travel, and I had to get out of the system. I did feel like settling down, and since then I've had a couple of other girls. I could have settled down and got married, but it never happened, you know. Yeah. I've been close to marriage nearly 5 times, but I ducked the weed through the lobby and went the blind.